Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got another video today. Today's is going to be a character analysis. I thought I would do one on Marco Rubio. I recently watched his memorial at Charlie Kirk's funeral, and I was pretty impressed by it. I thought it was pretty good. It was very appropriate. There were a lot of people who spoke that I felt like didn't give very appropriate remarks. It felt more like a campaign speech than an actual eulogy, and Marco's felt a lot better. So Marco Rubio first came along the scenes at back in, I guess he won his Senate seat in Florida in 2014 or 16. I actually don't remember the exact year, but he first became famous for getting his behind pummeled by Chris Christie on live TV in the presidential debates. He ran for president in 2016 and got like half a point or something like that, which, to be fair, was, I think, better than Chris Christie did. But Chris Christie kind of destroyed him in that debate, and he kind of drifted away into obscurity ever since. And he really didn't come back on the scene very much in the public eye, like majorly, until he became the Secretary of State under the Trump administration. And the thing is that back then, he's a lot older now. Back then, that was 10 years ago. He was like a 39 or 38 or something like that in his young 40s. Well, now he's in his 50s, and so he's grown a lot since then. Back then, he was a really big establishment neocon type, he was very much like the Mitt Romney kind of Bush wing of the Republican Party, and his opinions seem to have changed. His stances seem to have changed a lot since then, especially when it comes to foreign what's the word I'm thinking of? Not foreign aid, foreign policy, which is good because he's a Secretary of State. When you're the Secretary of State is very important when it comes to foreign policy, and I would hate to have a total neocon be in foreign policy. So he's a little bit better. Still way too favorable to Israel for my take, but he is. He's not the worst choice for Secretary of State, I'll put it like that. So he's changed over the years. He's gotten better at talking. Back years ago, he really only just did Republican talking points from 2005 was really all he did when he was in the limelight. Now he's gotten better, more sharper, better debater. And there's new prospects now that he might actually be a future vice president. So it seems like the Republican ticket in 2028 is going to be J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. Rubio being the VP and J.D. being the running person. And I gotta say, I think we can do better. It's not bad. It's not horrible. But I think we can do better. I think that as far as the available people right now go, you have, who do you have? You have Nikki Haley, you have Chris Christie, you have obviously Marco Rubio, you have Donald Trump Jr., maybe Tucker Carlson, and then of course you have Ron DeSantis. I don't really think he's going to run. Really, the only person that has any sort of chance of winning would be J.D. Vance, and it seems like he's interested in picking Marco for his VP, which would help with the Hispanic vote and all that. So not the worst, but far from the best. I would like to see a new person rise up, similar to how Trump did back in 2016, where he sort of anti-establishment came out, and then of course Trump, has stabbed us in the back many times since then, unfortunately. I need to do a Donald Trump character analysis. I'll do one for J.D. Vance too, probably. But focusing on Marco Rubio, Marco to me has over the years improved, but is still falling far short of where he needs to be considered a good VP pick, in my take. Which is a sad statement to say, because I think, like I said, I think right now the best you have is JD at the top of the ticket running with Marco Rubio. I really don't see anyone better who's more. Everybody else is just establishment neocon. They're the only anti-establishment populist type that could, first of all, have a chance of rounding up the working class, as well as Donald Trump can, while also appealing to, you know, Rust Belt working class people. There's no way somebody like Nikki Haley is going to do any of that. So, what else can I think of him? I do think that having him on the ticket. So, if you do that, if you have JD and Marco on the ticket, I think that's the first ticket in the history of the Republican Party where both people are Roman Catholics, which is definitely going to help with the Catholic vote. The Catholic vote is a kind of a swingy vote, especially the Hispanics now. And so I think having a Cuban American Catholic for vice president, hang on, would help with that area. So you have your Rust Belt appeal in the Rust Belt, you know, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, but then you've also got that Hispanic Catholic appeal for your Arizona and Nevada, and so that really just leaves, when you think about the swing states, that really just leaves Georgia to sort of, you know, fall into the Democrats, because that one's becoming much more bluer. So I think that really having Marco Rubio in the VP ticket is probably going to be your best option, even though I think we should have better options. I might have to talk about, maybe my next Q Talks will be on the future of the Republican Party, because I don't really, it's not the worst thing in the world, but definitely not the worst. When I think of the alternatives, when I think of Nikki Haley and Chris Christie and frickin' Romney, you know, you could definitely be worse than Marco Rubio, but for now, that's kind of my opinion on him. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't want this video to be 7 minutes, but I do think he's very articulate. I think he's very sharp. I think he's previously, he didn't really seem like a very genuine guy to me. Like I said, it seemed like he kind of was just doing like talking point answers. But nowadays, it seems like his answers are a little bit more believable. You know what I mean? A little bit more genuine, in my opinion. That he's not just a fake, which is very common in politicians, for them to just say whatever they want to get elected. I feel like Marco seems like more of like a genuine guy to me. That's kind of the vibe I get from him. The same obviously cannot be said about a lot of other people. So, but anyways, I think that's going to do it for this video. That's kind of my opinion of Marco Rubio. Overall, a positive favorability, just not like strongly positive. I think there are better options, but I wouldn't be mad. I probably would vote for him if he was on the ticket. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this character analysis, let me know in the comments if you agree. While the sun is blinding us, the sun doesn't agree. You'll have a great day. God bless. Goodbye.